Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Experimental brewing, different ways to use hops in the boil, and taste testing American alts with Dusseldorf alts. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 295. Hello and welcome to the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com, click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call, leave a voicemail, be Todd's best friend at 325-305-6107. I am your host, Joshua Stewing. As always, I'm joined by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President and Chief Keg Washer. And you did shave. When did you shave? Mr. Todd Burns. I feel like you weren't shaving when we left for work this morning.
I was. Yeah.
When did you shave?
This morning.
Oh, before work. Because your mother-in-law gave you grief last night at dinner.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, you don't remember her saying that, you need to shave it. And then she said something about, can you imagine having a beard and something? And I was like, yeah, that's the worst. That sounds terrible. You look good. I butchered. I'm going to blame my speech impediment. So if anyone notices how I said alt in the intro.
This is our art episode, right?
That's right.
Good. I've always wanted to have an art episode.
You're such a jerk. What were we reading about? Where it was some drug thing, and like most people were dying from it, but somebody just had a stroke and it left them with a speech impediment. And I was like, would it do the opposite to me if I did this drug and I had a stroke and then boom, now I'm speech impediment free? No, should not joke about that. I'll edit that out. But anyway.
No, you won't.
No, I'm not going to edit it out. Of course I'm not. I'm not going to edit out the intro that I flubbed. I am so happy that y'all, it is time. It is time to do the taste test.
Now, this really is the alt episode.
This is the alt episode. Yep. The only thing that would make this episode even more fun is if we could have gotten Horst here somehow for his judgment. We'll have to do something with Horst in the future in Altbier. We were fortunate enough by the carriers that we received magically 3 mini kegs of various Dusseldorf Alt. Today we're using Fuchsen. When it comes time for that, we actually have some questions and feedback first. But
so we'll go through real fast on the.
That's exactly.
Yeah, real fast. Oh, and we gotta. You remember how to open those, right?
Yes.
You gotta twist it or something. Yeah. Okay.
The mini keg.
Yeah.
No, but he's injured. You have to do it.
Oh no, but he has to walk me.
You have to vent it on the top, or it won't draft.
Okay.
He'll coach you through it. Okay.
This is gonna be great.
This is gonna be great. But anyway, I have the other camera there for the beer cam when we get to that. Small talk on that. This is technically publishing on the 1st of September, which means Trub Club recipes have already gone out. Bam, on the screen. I don't even have a screen here to pretend like it's up there, but y'all act like it's on there. The Sierra Nevada.
See how annoying that is? That's what I have to do with every week.
Well, last month was August. This is September 1st. We're in the future. So it's Todd's ESB, which I wish I had his.
Cool.
I wish I had his artwork. I'll show you when we're done recording, James. You're going to love it. It is the most flattering artwork that I could find for Todd. No, it's not
we
that.
We floated it last night, didn't we? You floated it.
I floated it.
Yeah. The ESB is floated.
And you don't have
sad.
another keg of it.
No other kegs of it.
But I did get you some pats of pub from our friends at Imperial, which is what it will ship out with. If you
get any Harvest?
I did not. And I asked you what I should get when I put it in.
Whatever we need for the next recipe.
You're right. I'm putting in the next one in 2 weeks.
What did you get? What is the next? What's the yeast for the next recipe?
No. We're in September now while we're recording this. It is Todd's ESB.
No, I know. But when they shipped us that, they shipped us this yeast for the next recipe, like
no.
6 or 8 packets of it.
We haven't gotten the Trub Club members yeast in yet. I got the pub with last month's Sierra Nevada's flagship.
Oh, yeah. That's what came in?
Yes. So the flagship came in, all 38 pats or whatever of that. Mm-hmm. And then your pats of pub to brew the September recipe.
Oh, they did? Okay. So
yes,
good.
That, right. Yeah. We're living in the past, but we're thinking in the future. So when I order for September, October's, I have to do the months when I have to do October's, then I'll get the recipes for November, etc.
Okay.
Which will come in later this month.
Correct. It will come in later this month. Because today is September the 1st, my friends. But anyway, all that confusion out of the way, if you join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, you will get the delicious Todd's ESB. I'm going to put it on the screen again as a cue for me to edit that in there so that y'all can see. You're going to love it. I actually kind of like that you don't have it on here. Do you remember the artwork that I made for your ESB?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You do remember? Okay, because I did send it to you.
It was very nice.
He had just gotten done lecturing me about something, James, and so that might have had an influence on how I did the artwork.
Yeah, it was very nice.
So yes, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. And again, thank you to our friends at Imperial Yeast for always sponsoring us and pretty much giving us whatever we asked for. I felt like I'd have to explain myself. Oh yeah, I want some extra pats because we're brewing it. They don't even care. It's like, hey, Josh, just tell us what you want. And we'll send it to you.
It's very helpful, and we use it a lot, and we give a lot of people recipes, and I think we help each other. So.
It's great. So that will be going out for the month of September. Todd's ESB. Other small talk. I don't have a lot written down except
good.
I need to brew more to get in. I've been taking kegs from y'all. We're kegging that Kolsch finally, and I'm taking that.
I think it'd help when we stop giving you kegs.
It would help, but you keep giving me kegs.
No, we've pretty much stopped. We're giving him the
Kolsch is the last one, and then boom,
that's it.
Cut me off.
You got to start brewing.
I do need to start brewing. I think y'all had made a request for an alt beer, but I'm afraid when we do the taste today, how good these alts are going to be, and I'm not going to want to brew an alt. And we'll get into that too before we do the taste test of why alts in the States isn't really a thing. You don't see it commercially. We'll get into all that. But I do have a couple of questions before y'all hear us slurping on beer and talking about alt. Our first one is kind of
it's time for listener feedback.
Kind of listener feedback, combo feedback question like we've had before in the past. It's from our buddy Jeff from New York.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Jeff from upstate New York. And I just had a comment and a question about the episode where you were talking about adding, we had a question about adding lactose, and you ended up recommending adding honey. And the only comment I wanted to add there was be careful if people are doing that and they're going to wind up bottle conditioning, because you're going to create bottle bombs. So, because if your beer is ever going to be wind up at room temperature after you add that honey, you're going to start re-fermentation, and that could run into some trouble there. And also I wouldn't be afraid of lactose. I remember I've used it in the past when I was creating higher alcohol IPAs, and I just wanted to balance the mouthfeel, because you're going to add sugar at that point. You're really trying to go for a higher alcohol IPA. And you just want to balance the mouthfeel and the taste. You're not trying to make it really sweet. You're trying to just make it taste correct, if that makes sense. And, people are afraid if they haven't used lactose before, they think, oh, I'm adding milk. You're not adding milk, you're adding milk sugar, for the sweetness, just so it's not fermentable.
Yep.
My question is, do you guys ever, I know you're talking about, brewing the style. You ever just, say, I'm going to brew something, I don't know what I'm making, I'm going to just take some ingredients and experiment. Because that's kind of how I brew. I have a problem. I can't follow a recipe. I mean, I can, but I get bored. So I always change things up and mix things up and do strange things, because I'm mostly brewing for myself. But some people I've talked to who are brewers have anxiety doing that. But it's how I like to do it. So do any of you ever play around that way? All right, let me know. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, this episode, you're going to have to stop kicking that. I knew it was a mistake putting a mic stand at you don't hear that in your ears. That's why I was like, I got to give him headphones. You got to hear the questions. You don't hear the...
No.
Oh, okay. I heard it. Anyway, I put experimental brewing in the title of the thing.
Yeah.
Great podcast by Denny and Drew, not trying to step on any toes or whatever, but the part of the question that he was putting out there is basically like experimentation. James, you're the
sometimes
guru.
that's the best thing to find. You're going to find some things you probably don't like, but in my experience doing that, tweaking recipes and just going upstairs and grabbing, you got your base malt, and then I'll think, I want to see what this works, but always go through and do research on the percentages, because you don't want 10% of 500 Lovey Bond malt.
Right.
You just don't want to do that. But play around. That's how a lot of times I brewed some really bad beers, not in flawed beers, but just not the recipe, the grain mix wasn't right, or the hop. Playing around and learning from mistakes is a great way to learn.
Absolutely. I think you called it your Franken Ale.
Yeah.
Or the Monster Brew. Which one? I forget. You might have used both names.
Yeah.
Monster Ale, Franken Ale. It was one of the biggest hits. You gave me a keg of it.
Yeah.
And I have an uncle who still talks about it.
That's a big beer, too.
He was booking cruises. He was buying jewelry on his phone. He loves and curses that beer at the same time when he talks about it. But it was so smooth. That which IPA did you send me home with once? That was it. The Galaxy Smash that was like 9. It finished at like 9%.
Yes.
8, wasn't it that one?
Yeah, that was so smooth.
Stupid smooth.
Yeah.
And your barn beer, which I don't think it's only 7.6. I thought it was in the 8s. That is stupid smooth. And
no, I keep meticulous records.
I know it is that. You're right. I shouldn't even. How I can't second guess. You're absolutely right. You do.
Do you know how many times I checked the starting and final gravity on that beer?
More than 5. Oh, are you using your?
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of the device now.
Yeah, it's super cool too. By the way,
cool. I'll have to put it in the show notes because I forgot.
No guessing with that.
No, it tells you straight up.
I can't remember. I can't think of it either. But it's basically it uses vibrations to.
It's not a refractometer because it doesn't use light. It uses vibrations.
It uses vibrations.
Jonathan Marut is at home watching this, screaming the name of it. You idiots! It's called the whatever. I insert that into the chat or into my voice if I could go back and dub over. But anyway, Todd, you brew a lot, but I've never known you to necessarily be a risk taker or experimental brewer. You change recipes up all the time, but would you call yourself an experimenter, or do you take something safe and tweak it to see what it'll do, if that makes sense?
No, I mean, I do. I some of the beers that we've brewed, we've tried some different things like the rye, putting rye in and changing. I mean, I think in a way, anytime you create a recipe, you're experimenting.
That's a good point.
Because you don't really know. And I mean, I create a lot of recipes and, you're experimenting, but you're experimenting within boundaries. In other words, I don't want to create a beer that sucks because I brew 15 gallons at a time.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to experiment to the point where every fourth beer it's going to suck and I'm going to pour it out. I value my beer for drinking
and your time
and my time.
And like James said, the good rule of thumb I think would be just do your research on what ingredients do, so that you're not wasting your time. Because if I'm going to throw some Crystal 60, I'm going to do 80 of it, and you get some garbage sweet whatever thing and just be bummed out. But
well, a lot of times people will be just absolutely lost in creating a recipe. Maybe they think, I can't do that. I don't know the basics. You can pull out the BJCP guideline book, and that'll give you a rough idea a rough sketch of what each style is. Or you can just go into Brewer's Friend.
Yeah.
They've got public recipes. They break everything down. Some of them have reviews. Find something you like, and that's a foundation to build off of, tweaking or creating something off of that.
Absolutely.
Well, I know, like when I brewed the last ESB, the recipe that we have for this month, I know that I probably looked at 10 different ESB recipes. And a lot of them I was like, why in the world did they put that in an ESB?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I would, now I'm not doing that. And then every once in a while you say, I never thought about doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be good. So, you use it as having a bunch of different recipes is nice, so you can kind of see what the guidelines are. Yep. One of the things I think that surprises me the most when I'm in somewhere like Brewer's Friend and I'm looking at ESB recipes is how many times you'll find a recipe that is absolutely not an ESB. I mean, you're just like, why would you use that malt for an ESB? It doesn't make sense.
Lorena's in there. Here's my conspiracy theory. She's going in and putting a bunch of what she would consider more drinkable drinks to try to convince people that's what an ESB
I think she's
like.
removed all the ones with Fuggle. She's removed every recipe with Fuggle.
Everything.
I don't see any that use Fuggle. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was funny. Does your recipe use Fuggle or did it just use East?
No.
Kent Golding.
Yeah, East Kent Golding. Yeah.
That's what
Kent Goldings.
Yeah. Was that to appease our friend Lorena?
I just think it's a better hop for
a good hop,
ESB.
Yeah, it is good. And it is what you used with what was on tap. And it is why I drank it.
And I had some.
And that's what you had. Yeah. But we did receive a ton of it. We're ready for you to join the Trail Club at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour because Todd ordered a ton of East Kent Golding hops.
Yeah.
And I forget the recipe.
We actually have a new partner that's going to be
that's true.
Helping us with
great segue. Go
hops.
With hops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopsdirect.com. Hops Direct, we will start running their bumpers proper this month, next week, but they are partnering with us and the official sponsor.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And we just bought a bunch of hops from them, and I was kind of on the phone with them, telling them what we did or on email. And they said they'd love to sponsor us, so that'll help as well.
And we don't really talk about malt and or hop suppliers a lot on the show, but you've been buying from Hops Direct since you've been in the ingredients game. I mean, you've been a customer of theirs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I bought them back when we had Bertha. So,
before you ever worked for Todd, I was gonna say they've been around a while. Yeah. They have a great YouTube channel with good content, real cinematic videos of I forget the name of the farm already off the top of my head, but a family. The funny thing is, I was like, Todd, we gotta go visit that farm. That'd be great. We'll take our camera. We'll do some like the C.M. Becker showcase stuff. But they don't drink. The family that runs the farm, they don't drink. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me.
A hop farmers that don't drink. Interesting. It's like Sam from Cheers. No, maybe not, because I bet they're not all alcoholics. They probably just don't drink it anyway. But anyway.
But like me at a distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You don't.
No.
That's right. I mean, under the right peer pressure, we've gotten you, but you don't like to.
Yeah, generally not my first choice.
I know.
No.
I know. With all the alt beer we'll be drinking later, I'm not even going to try to push whiskey.
Wouldn't it be good if this Fusion glass had one in there?
Oh, shut up. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Thirsty.
I'm getting there. Okay. Jeff, thank you so much for submitting the question. This is a great time to remind you if and when we take your voicemail question at 325-305-6107. You get a $25 gift card to catconnection.com, courtesy of Mr. Burns sitting right here, which our second and final question for this part of the show comes from our buddy Brandon from Colorado Springs. It's also a voicemail.
Sweet.
Hey guys, this is Brandon from Colorado Springs. I got a question for you regarding the use of hops in the boil. I know you've talked in the past about using hop bags, and you're a big proponent of that. I wondered if you had any experience with hop spiders and how they work in relation to the bags, and if there's one way that's better than the other to kind of keep the boil kettle a little bit cleaner during brew day. Thanks for taking the question. Love the show. Been a listener for quite some time, and have to say Josh is the best. It's just how it is.
Oh my goodness!
Oh gosh!
Now we know why the question. We're joking. He is.
It was a great question.
Yeah, it is. That's a good question.
A great statement, great question. All of the above. I will say I don't think you'll have to use hop spiders because you whirlpool.
That's right.
So we actually, and that's probably a misnomer. We don't actually use hop bags when we're brewing. We use bags when we're doing dry hopping. Things where we're going to actually put it in the fermenter, and we just don't want all that. We don't want all that in the fermenter, and when we're trying to mess with getting it to the next stage. So we do the whirlpool and don't use anything in the boil kettle. But spiders, I mean, we've sold spiders before. We've had them in stock, and they seem like they would be a good product. And depending on how you brew, if you can't do a whirlpool, I wouldn't think anything of using them. I'd use them.
James, a lot of the times it's the single vessel brew in a bags that use a spider, right? And it's because they can't really get a whirlpool and a efficient
I think any time you're brewing in a situation where you can't do a whirlpool, you probably want to use one of those.
Yeah.
We did not do a whirlpool when we were doing the old Bertha was just gravity flow from the HLT, the mash to the boil pot. And Clay showed up, which We got to get him on one of these days.
Oh, you tell me when.
Yeah.
Clay.
Clay.
You tell me when, and we would get you on. It could be a day's notice. Have him when I'm up here. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Sometime
absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's a busy guy, but he had spent the money and
Go
bought
ahead.
one from Blinkman, and we used it, and it helped a whole lot. Now, I'll say this: it helped to me but now keep in mind I haven't used it a whole lot. But when we did use it, we used pellet hops. We didn't use whole leaf hops.
Sure. Right.
The few times I've used whole leaf hops, absolute mess.
I bet.
Got into everything. It got into the
Particulates
chiller
everywhere.
I mean, it just those little leaves come apart and they get into everything.
And y'all were using a chiller or a plate chiller.
Yeah, it was Clay's Blankman Terminator. When he got into our club, our brewing club, he brought a bunch of really nice equipment.
Yeah.
And expertise. Now, keep in mind, he had already built as part of his college project. He built an all grain machine.
Yeah.
So he was all grain brewing
He was
before
already-
we were.
Yeah.
So he was a wealth of knowledge and just wonderful guy to work with. One of my best friends. So
1, 2, 3.
How many cans do you want?
Oh, we don't have one can. Yeah, there's enough cans for all of us to have our own copper. Oh, shoot, yeah. And we're not blind taste testing either. We're doing it.
You gotta mention who supplied us with these too.
Name drop?
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
Kenny-
Maybe. Oh, I say that. I don't know. I mean, the shipping laws, I don't want to throw someone under the bus. I'm kidding. Sort of kidding.
Ship them to us.
Yeah, our buddies Jason and Kenny have sent us beer,
yeah.
which we thank you.
They dropped them off, remember?
That's what I said. They drove us beer. They drove us beer here. Anyway, but the Hopspire question. So,
Yeah.
in your opinion, if you can whirlpool, then is it just not worth a spider? Because they're not. I mean, they're not expensive. But they're not
it's
cheap.
just I like to throw the hops directly into the Brautag because I know I'm going to whirlpool it, and then we also cool back in. I cool back into the boil kettle. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, I
with the
don't have to
Brautag,
worry
yeah.
about it. We can do a late edition, like 180 degree edition, and I can just shut the cooler off.
Yeah.
Get the 20 minutes I want, turn it back on, and it'll. Especially now that the weather's changing, we start getting cooler tap water. It's a great way. I think we get better hop efficiency if it's just thrown into the pot.
Yeah. You've said that before.
I think, and I could be wrong. You guys can leave a comment.
Right. If someone's done the science behind it, but our perception is it does seem to be.
Well, I mean, if you've got a muslin bag full of hops, and it's those alpha acids are secreting out of the hop, I would think some of that gets trapped in the fibers of the hop bag.
It has to.
So, I mean, you can always anticipate and add more if you're, really into that. I'm bittering only. I do very little flavor hops or aroma hops.
Yeah.
But
which is not what I like to.
right.
Over
So
the
maybe I'm not the best guy for advice on that because I just don't do a whole lot of hops on my brews.
No, I think so. But yeah, with the wrapping up Brandon's question, if you don't have a way of doing a whirlpool, I mean, you don't have to have it automated. People whirlpool literally manually by doing the stirring and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to do that with that. We had a 50-gallon Blinkman bulk.
That y'all were manual whirl, like y'all were hand.
Yeah, that big stainless steel.
That's what that was for.
Yeah. Brandon bought that because of the Bodor incident.
Yeah. Oh, we won't go into.
Everybody knows about that, so we won't bring it up.
Going
again,
to older that's the only
Yeah.
time I encourage going to older episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll create a wealth of tastes you've never tasted before, and none of them good.
And thank God, no hospital visits. Though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a YouTube video from that doctor that talks about consequences of ingestion of weird substances.
Oh yeah, you could have been on 50 Ways to Die or whatever too. If you the chemicals that leached off of a academy.com. I don't actually. Y'all got Walmart actually.
Walmart boat paddle.
Yeah, but anyway, so
Let's talk about Altbier.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for submitting the question. Let's talk about Altbier. Before you open that up, Todd.
Look at that. Is that beautiful or what?
And we taste it.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
What are we? Let me. I think my phone is giving resistance. Something.
I guess it's.
Oh, here, I put it over there. Yeah, but remember, the microphone is right there.
So look at this beautiful fox with the fire hose pouring beer out, and our matching glass. We're in heaven here.
Yeah, and Fusion was one you didn't take me to when we went to Dusseldorf because I don't know if it was out of the way or something. But y'all have been to Fusion, the brewery.
It's kind of James and I. It's our place.
Yeah, but James was saying we got to admit. I hate y'all. Sometimes I hate y'all. But I will say there was the Brewery Kurtzer. We did get a mini keg from them, and you didn't take James to that one, but you did take me to that one. Is that kind of our thing?
Well, that's because that's our place.
That's the one that, remember that we walked in, Stefan's friend who was American but lived in Germany for a while said, oh yeah, it's kind of where the younger people hang out. You're like, oh, younger people, I'm a younger person. And I felt old there. I was like, oh, these are like, because I think you can drink at 16 in Germany. I might be making that up.
But you can drink beer at maybe 15, but you can't drink hard liquor until, or maybe nobody. Well, it's 18.
The bar was a bunch of high school kids. Okay, I'm pretty confident it was high school kids hanging out at that bar, and we walk in. I was still clinging on to the little bit of hair I had at the time, not shaving my head yet, and like, oh gosh, we got to get out of this place. But
no, 15's in Mexico. Maybe it's 16. I can't remember.
I forget it too, but. Either way, how do you want to do? You want to pour side by side so that we can do a proper comparison.
This will be the.
We need to vent this first.
It has instructions on
it. Readings for suckers.
You guys just twist it.
Yeah, twist.
Drunk.
There you go.
There you go.
Ooh, baby, we're venting here. Look at that.
Do you want to put a glass
straight back?
Yep.
There you go.
And then twist it.
Oh, I wish I had a camera for that. Maybe
don't twist it yet. Just pull straight back.
See if I can.
Because you're going to twist it to dispense.
Y'all got to watch the YouTube video if y'all aren't yet. The powers of me holding a webcam.
I'm pulling it hard. I'm afraid I'm going to break it.
You can grab it by the plastic face.
There you go. Oh, you're getting there.
Okay, we're doing something here.
Okay, now when you turn it.
Oh, gosh. There you go.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Did you take off the vent?
I thought. Should be vented. Nope, still pouring beer. Shit.
Todd!
Oh, you just
twist it. I'm acting like I know. Yeah, Todd, how do you not know? You just have to twist it.
Okay, let me try.
Maybe I don't have it out far enough?
No, it's
good. Okay.
No, it's perfect. Far. Yeah. You're gonna pull it all the way.
You're gonna have to edit when I have the whole keg underneath my mouth trying to keep it.
James is getting the perfect pour. Here we go. Look at that. Would you look at that?
Just look at that.
I'm gonna have to drink this so I can get the foam out of the way.
Yeah, that's right. You do. Goodness, James, that's a beautiful beer.
Good.
Todd, you have headphones on.
I forgot. I'm excited.
He hasn't even been drinking yet.
Oh my gosh, it's good.
Trying to this people watching at home. Sorry if I'm giving you motion sickness.
I got it now. I'm a draft expert.
You are a draft expert.
I kind of screwed that up though.
A little bit. Yeah, don't worry, boss. I'll edit this out.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now we're going to need your glass.
Yes, sir.
You want one, right?
Yes. I'll drink it out of the Schumacher, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, you see Gracie's butt.
Nice. I'm just by Murray sleeping. And
our fourth member is under the table, Gracie girl.
Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah, this is really pouring well now.
It is. Good job, James.
Yeah, you did a good job.
It looks so good, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
That good copper color. And I think that's why they name, because in the BJCP guidelines, it says the correct appearance is copper.
Yeah.
Coppery.
All right, there's yours, Josh. Now, on the next one, I know how to work these suckers.
Perfect. These cans?
Yeah.
While you're doing that, let's talk about James while he's opening these and pouring these for us. The first time I had it was in the airport with you in North Carolina. Was that your first time as well?
First time.
Do you remember? It's just my memory. Sometimes I romanticize things.
It was South Carolina.
No, I thought. Oh, I wasn't. I thought it was North Carolina. I thought we were in Raleigh, the airport.
Oh, maybe it was.
I think we were because isn't North? Yes.
No, you're right.
Because North Carolina was NASCAR country, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because South Carolina.
Okay.
Moore's Head, South Carolina is where Junior lives.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But. So all right, Todd. Here, okay. The style of alt, James. We discuss it a lot. How much we love it. We've had Horst on. He's given us history of it. We did his recipe once for Trup Club. Everyone loved it. It was happy. Why do you think more commercial breweries in the States aren't doing alt beer?
That's absolutely have no idea.
Yeah, right? That is the question.
It's so good. I can't imagine why they wouldn't make that part of the regular recipe or try it.
There we go.
I don't know. Maybe the style is kind of hard to nail for a Dusseldorf alt.
Yeah. Here's the Dusseldorf. That's Fusion. Yep.
Yeah, I noticed right off the bat the copper is a whole lot clearer than the.
It is right. Fusion copper. If the lighting is not the greatest in here, pretty darn close. The copper is a little bit more amber.
It's a little brighter and a little lighter than the.
Which one have you tasted already?
I would say that. I would say that both of them are in style, though. You get different colors in different breweries in Dusseldorf.
I'll mute my mic as I try the. I'm going to try the copper first.
Or should I'm doing?
Or should I try? I should do Fusion first. You're right, because that's going to be the baseline of what I judge copper off of.
Oh, that smell!
The smell of this is so. That's what I was sitting there doing while you were talking. I was smelling back and forth,
and it has that alt beer bite that is so hard to do.
That's so good. Oh, and the reason. So we have a keg of Brauerei Kurtz, of Schlussel, and Fusion, and we kind of came to the agreement that we would use Fusion because they're middle of the road.
They are middle of the road
in regards of dryness and maltiness, right? We can judge American alts off of they're a good baseline. I understand it. Schlussel is probably your absolute favorite. I'd say Schumacher's your favorite.
Yep. Schumacher.
And Schlussel is what I picture when I think of alt when I'm trying them. But Fusion is like a great blend of malt and dry, and that is just incredible.
It's funny how they are able to nail the body with the dryness on the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So much going on. And what is the recipe when you're going to brew an alt? Do you know it off the top of your head?
No.
Okay, I'm trying to. Well, and we changed.
At one time I did, but I change it so much that.
Well, did you ever brew horse version with the bark?
I did. When I pretty much gave up brewing alt beer because I just couldn't get it right, and then Todd bought me that book, and I sat down and just completely started from scratch and kind of moved the direction he suggested, and it got me there. Where we needed to be. At least it got me in the roadmap. We were talking about recipes earlier. It helped me get where I wanted to be on my recipe. And guys, my recipe's not the end all be all alt beer. It just happens to be the one I like. I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that don't like it, but I have a certain taste, smell, and what I have in my head about what it should be, and that's as close as I've gotten so far.
This copper's pretty darn good.
That's good.
It's pretty darn. It's missing a little bit of body, in my opinion, that the Fusion has. It's a little bit shallower, if that makes sense. And it's not it doesn't have that kind of biscuit or that bite, rather. Pardon me.
Yeah,
but it's really good. It's as good as I remember it being too.
It's good.
It's closer to a Schlussel alt than it is a Fuchsia.
Yeah, or a drier one.
It's a damn good alt.
It is, right? That's why I was glad people sent it, because we've been so heartbroken before when we've gone to restaurants and they have an alt on tap and you're served it, and at best it's an amber ale. Okay, not bad, but it's not quite an alt. But at worst, it's a porter or something.
Yeah, it has a taste, and I've been sitting here for 5 minutes trying to figure out, or since I took my first sip, trying to figure out what it is. It's a little bit like what is the name of not maple? What's the syrup that
sorghum?
Sorghum or molasses? Yeah, it has
molasses.
A sorghum molasses taste to it. Molasses is what I was trying to say.
Molasses. When you say that, it's kind of like your Sterling Pilsner. I was trying to think of how to describe it, and he says pepper. I go, that's exactly the word I was thinking of.
It has a molasses,
it is molasses
flavor. Yeah,
it's good.
Very interesting.
It's very good. We ought to travel because I'm pretty sure they're North Carolina.
Yep, it is. It says Mecklenburg County, North Carolina.
We need to travel there do a video and get their take on it. Do you think that they brought in a German brewer and made a $9 million facility or whatever? I'm sorry, I'm throwing the Fredericksburg people under the bus. I shouldn't do that. But I was, y'all wouldn't know how upset I was when I went to the first time to get their beer at a store. And they the amber used to say Alt before it said amber. I'm pretty confident.
I know you've told us a lot about it.
I was so disappointed because I was like, this is it. I have a local source.
Let's have happy thoughts about this Altbier that I haven't had because we haven't been to Germany forever.
Yeah.
Here's the happy thought. We're gonna drink that entire 5-liter keg because we didn't bring a vessel to put it in. So that's the happy thought.
Oh yeah, we don't have
that's an amazing alt beer. You guys did a fantastic job. That's a good representation.
Oh yeah, Old Mecklenburg.
Yep.
Yeah. And we will, we don't have to do we're not going to really do a long drawn out taste test either because we're not doing a breakdown of anything as much as we were given these.
Oh, we already did.
Yeah. I mean, a longer breakdown.
Okay.
Like, no, if I was thinking we were doing a longer breakdown, I would have zoomed in Horst and he would tell us why this is a real alt because they use tradition.
And I wonder if he's had it.
That is actually something I can text him.
If he hasn't, then I'd text him. We could save him a can.
We have another 4 or 5 more. Yeah,
it's so good. You guys, you run into it, you're in for a treat.
This is when distribution stuff is the heartbreaker because we can't get it here at our stores. People, I get a lot of Frew a lot of the time. And I have listeners like, oh my God, how lucky you are that you get this. And I'm like, I guess I should be grateful because there are beers that I would love to get that I just absolutely can't. In Kolsch too. I would love to get Peter's Kolsch.
I would too. That's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. Frew is great. And it's the best import I can get.
And it's even better in Cologne.
Oh, way.
I mean,
it's a cloud in Cologne.
And guys, don't give me hell about this, but Heineken in Amsterdam is a whole different animal than what we have here in the States.
Oh, I can't wait to get my inbox open tomorrow morning.
I mean, there's significant difference in flavors and taste. It's still Heineken, and you know what? It's not a bad beer.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. If it was bad, they wouldn't be as successful as they were.
I can tell you that the tour was kind of subpar because it was.
It's so funny you say that because we were hanging out with somebody a while back and they had been on the tour.
Yeah.
And we were just laughing about how cheesy it was,
Really?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You start off as a grain and you go through as a grain goes through the brewing process. So,
and all their special effects are like from maybe the early 80s.
Yeah. When a mommy beer and a daddy beer love each other.
Well, here's the thing that got both, and I may be speaking out of line, but what Todd and I both were scratching our heads about, when we finally did get into a room where somebody was talking, they were talking about how to press the glass to your lips.
Oh, no.
And take a drink. And I was more interested in the nuts and bolts about their beer, the grains, and all that, but they were more about how to actually drink the beer out of a glass than more of the mechanics or the recipe itself.
That's so funny.
But that's the geek in me.
And this isn't the same thing, but when we all went to Prague and they had Budvar, that is way better.
It's a good beer.
Yeah. It's a good
very,
beer.
Very good
Even
beer.
Czechvar. They started importing Czechvar.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did get at Total Wine and More, they had Budvar.
No way.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I got to read this on the label. I've never thought of describing it this way. Did you read this?
Mm-hmm.
This sentence here. Once you drink this lagered ale.
Yep.
I've never thought of calling it it's a lagered ale, and that's kind of what it is.
In the guideline, it's hybrid, right? Is the term?
No, I believe the guideline book shows it as an ale that's lagered.
Oh, right on.
Like a lager beer.
That's really cool. Yeah. Because it's kind of hard to describe Kolsch and alt sometimes because kind of the running joke in Germany is that it's a very similar beer. That they make this darker, but it's a very similar beer, but it's brewed different with different yeast. And
well, it's funny when you go to Dusseldorf, they don't consider Kolsch is the way they say it. Yeah. Kolsch is not beer. No. And then
Stefan has said that on the show.
and mean it. Kolsch is not a beer.
Yeah, Alt is beer. Kolsch,
But
not.
this guy will go into a Kolsch bar and say, "Do you have Alt?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude,"
And
I'm
vice
not
versa.
with this
Yeah, I'm not
guy.
with this guy. Dumb
And then
American.
he stops. I'm laughing, and they take it on the chin, so to speak. But
Yeah.
You don't mind playing the role of dumb American. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Then we go to this one place. We've been to two places actually that are kind of in between, and they have both, and that's awesome when they have both on tap. You know,
told me about
but
that
they're
place.
always on one side or the other a little bit. So
Yeah.
they're like, well, we're so close to Cologne, we carry a Kolsch, but for when there's some people that walk in that aren't real men, we can serve them a Kolsch.
But don't tell
Kolsch.
anybody. Yeah.
a Kolsch.
You know how much grief I get from our German peers for my love of Kolsch? I think that's why Claudia just blocked me on social media.
Really?
Probably. No, she didn't really block me, but I get so much grief from Stefan when I bring up Kolsch. It's fantastic. It's like, I love it. I can't help it.
And he lives literally between both
I know he
cities,
does. He's
right.
like middle. He's
You
like
know
middle
what?
ground.
I think the reason is because although Kolsch is good, it's just not as good as Alt.
Well, okay. I'm not. Look, it is easier to brew a good Kolsch than it is to
Absolutely.
brew a good Alt.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
and
if
you're
you-
all about easy.
Yeah.
Yes, you know I am. You know I am.
It's well, you can brew an alt and have it drinkable, but it's really hard to brew something that tastes like that.
It is.
Super hard.
It is.
Very hard. So hard, in fact, that I remember telling Todd, I'm done. I'm not going to be brewing it anymore. I'm not going to waste my time because it's hard to do.
Well, and remind people, though, it was Todd got you the Alt book,
Yeah.
which was the one from Horst, or it was, right?
Yeah. That's the only
and
alt
that-
beer I know that's out there.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that
alt
got
beer.
and that got you back into to brewing it.
Hey, guys, thank you again for sending this
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
us.
Jason,
Fantastic.
Benny.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I
It
owe
was
them beer. And
Very nice. You owe a lot of people beer.
I owe a lot of people beer.
Yeah,
I owe a lot of people money. I owe a
In
lot of
fact,
people-
you know what? We had a listener reach out to me, Anna Britt,
yeah, oh yeah, she's
and
great.
she's going to be brewing alt beer.
No way.
So I gave her my recipe and I gave her horse, and I said, you get to pick which one you want the
Nice.
best. So
Which one do you think?
I would love for you to let me know how much you like my recipe or horse.
If you want to get your question on the show,
Yours is empty, right?
Yes,
I'm going to put this in the fridge, and so I'm going to go ahead and fill yours back up.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
then that way
Fill her
we'll
up.
keep it cold. And
that fusion is so good.
It is.
so good.
No, and the copper is great, but I'm just saying, like, it is so refreshing to have a
I
Dusseldorf.
have to go to that place every time, and they have really good food too.
Oh yeah, the pork knuckle,
Oh, God.
the creamy mashed potatoes are the best I've ever had in my life. There, that last day with Stefan, you and I, we all had pork knuckle with the creamy mashed potatoes. It was so good.
Now,
The waiters are very rude, but
Oh, very. And the waiters in Cologne and Dusseldorf are often
that's a great pour. By the way.
are often very, very rude when you sit down. And what's so interesting to me is if you kind of joke around with them and you tell them how much you love their beer and you kind of give them a little bit of grief back and you go banter a little bit, they're like the nicest people in the world.
they'll loosen up. Yeah,
Yeah, they really change. I think they just kind of get burned out on
Americans.
maybe it's Americans, but
I don't want to drag out the show just for the sake of it, but there are other regions of Germany that have their own versions of alt, right?
Yeah.
yes,
Alt just is the German word for old.
old,
Yeah,
yeah.
Old
So
beer.
is alt beer like if an American like they did alt beer and it's understood this is a take on the Dusseldorf alt.
They specifically say Dusseldorf all
Yeah.
on there.
Right. Oh yeah, it does in the Dusseldorf style. Have y'all ever brewed a different type of alt?
No, all the
Hell
other
no.
alts are shit.
Imposters.
No, I'm kidding.
Have you
See,
Nine.
I just said that so really, if we had any German listeners in those other regions,
Well,
just to make them mad.
I'll bring it up. I don't know if you remember. So
9.
the first time Todd took me to Germany, we went to Munster because we both love this podcast by Dan Carlin called Hardcore History.
Did you get the cheese?
And he did an episode on the Munster Rebellion.
Oh, God, that was so good.
And so we went and toured all these places, and my mind is just blown by how old everything is in Europe.
Yeah.
Either way, remember the Munster alt? Do you remember that?
Yes, of course.
It was not good. I don't know.
What did it taste like?
It was on the
Your dog is giving me a
yeah, he lied to you. It was like more hop forward that I remember, and I won't say sour, but it was not. I got it thinking, because I hear Altbier and I think Dusseldorf Alt. That was when I learned, oh crap, there's like 10 different varieties of Alt depending on where you're at in Germany. So I've never thought to brew one. I know
Fast as it'll pour because it's gravity flowing.
it has gravity, Todd.
I think I'd screwed something up. I know it pours fast.
Yeah, you got to open it back up and let it gravity pour.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it won't go any faster.
So
than that.
I don't
Can
know
I
if y'all-
just tell you how slow this is?
Homebrew Supply, when we had it, had a Northern German alt beer.
I remember that.
Okay,
yeah.
so you never brewed it though.
No, I'd have no interest whatsoever in
Just
brewing
do it.
anything
Oh,
other than Dusseldorf.
God, you guys
Alt.
are killing
Okay,
me.
and then before we wrap it up, there too, did you know alt beer before you worked for CM Becker?
Nope. I can remember Todd hired me the first week that I worked. He was on vacation. Let me back up. The first week that I worked with Todd, we were planning the Black Friday.
Yeah, of 2015, right? Or
2015.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, by the way, I told you before, you need to go get your passport because we're going to go to Germany next year. And there's a special beer in Dusseldorf where our factory is, and you've got to try it. It's my favorite beer in the whole world. So didn't really think anything of it. Got the passport. That next year, it was March. We went to
2016,
Germany.
yeah.
2016 went to Germany with Michael, and I remember we landed because Michael has an apartment. He was the guy from that Todd bought CM Becker from. He had an apartment, so he did his own thing. And we got there on a Sunday, if I remember right, and I didn't bring a coat, and we were walking around Altstadt, and it was misty and cold, I remember. And Todd was just literally giddy. He was like, I can't wait for you to try this. It's amazing. And in my head, I thought, he likes it. I'm no doubt I think it's good, but it can't be that good. And then we stopped at Schlussel.
That was your first stop?
First place.
Wow.
Well, we went to the pork knuckle place, and then we did Schlussel.
Yeah.
Sat down, had a glass, and I was like, this is a life-changing event for me, because it was that beer completely changed my opinion of how good beer could be.
And balanced,
Yeah,
right?
and I know people listening are going to go, James, here you go again. See, I'm the alt, he's the Gulls, but I'm here to tell you right now, it was almost as close as to a religious experience as you can get. It was amazing. It was the most amazing beer I've ever had in the most amazing place. And I'm thinking, this isn't work.
Yeah.
This isn't work.
Yeah. I similar with all. We went to Schumacher was the first place.
Whatever, guys. Come on now. I know what y'all really like from Dusseldorf.
I have a picture here. Let me
the kill a pitch.
let me put
I have a different pronunciation of that word.
kill a pitch. I have a picture of you and I before we did the shot, my first shot, and after.
Do you
Oh,
want
yeah.
a full shot or how much?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Dan. Oh, dude,
No.
pour me a
I'll
shot.
pass.
I will absolutely do a shot with you on the show. Kill it. I'll call your bluff.
No, it's going to ruin
I'll do
your
James-
taste buds for the alt.
I'll do James's shot
Yeah,
too.
do my
do a-
shot.
I'll do
Yeah.
a up to the
Absolutely have no interest
That's about a
whatsoever.
shot. So yeah.
I'll do James's shot too. You pansy.
But John, I'm just.
I am a
I'm just
pansy.
gonna pour you just a
You know what that stuff tastes like?
Cough
little
medicine.
Vicks
sip.
44.
You can. I think it's an acquired taste.
Hey, if we're drinking Dusseldorf Alt and we're getting the Dusseldorf experience,
Yep,
that little corner bar that you just go get a shot of.
There's a
Philippine.
little
Kill
window,
pitch.
and it's €3, and they give you a glass this big. You're going to ruin my palate for the alt beer.
Prost.
Prost.
Gosh.
Y'all.
It tastes like
Oh, that's garbage.
Oh, it's
Oh,
so
that's so-
good, isn't it?
Oh, that's garbage.
Can you taste all the different herbs? Oh,
If my nose burns. It's not raining anymore. Let's go get in the pool. I'm gonna wrap this up.
yeah, no.
Party time.
oh.
Anyway, with alt beer, here's what I'll say. People write in, they call in, you talk to them all the time because you
Yeah.
answer the phones all the time. We don't want to scare people away from trying to brew an alt beer.
Or make them think it's the best thing in the world, and then they have it, and they're like, these guys have no credibility whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's Kolsch, but yes. No, I think what I want to encourage people. We need to. When's the last time we did the alt recipe?
When we had we sold the Brautag system to a customer, and
for the Trub Club. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't.
I'm ready to brew it.
We have done one this year.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't remember if we did one so far this year.
I want to brew it again.
Yeah, you need to.
This is giving me encouragement to brew it again.
Because I wish more people could have access to at least copper, because this would be a fantastic gateway to alt. If you have if you can get this regularly, I would absolutely get this.
No, I've never brewed it. I've always, James has always brewed it.
No, I don't think he ever has brewed it.
Really?
We've brewed it together, but I've never brewed it by myself, because when I say that I'm going to brew it,
then you
take over.
And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, oh, man, we're brewing it.
That's right.
He's fired up. And there's nothing better than when James takes over.
That's how I feel when
No, that's not good, because then you don't. I need to watch that. I do that when we're working on the Jeep, too.
No, but that's good. That's how we want it.
That's because I'm screwing something up.
No.
Yeah, it's true, James.
I would say this. If you guys are out there doing a recipe on Altbier, watch the super dark roasted malt. I use that in the recipe for color, not so much more for flavor. If you overdo it, it'll taste like a stout.
Yep.
That was the one thing I learned in the probably 50 different recipes that I worked on. Because I've been brewing Altbier recipes for 7 years.
At
least.
Yeah.
So the really dark Lovey Bond malt, we use that small amounts for color to create the copper color. And then you do a lighter roast for that alt beer flavor.
Yeah.
And then also I use spalt hops, and then I break it up I do the 60, I do the 30, I do the 15. That's it. 3 hop additions.
Do you not do decoction anymore?
Absolutely. If you can do it, take some grains out, get as much water out. And I did a short video about that.
Yep.
It gives it a little character and flavor that you can't get otherwise.
So you do recommend it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you feel like doing it, but you can make a really good alt beer without doing it. But it's that one other thing that you can do. You can do that on Oktoberfest too. It caramelizes the sugars on the grains when you're mashing, and the depth of flavor is a little more.
You notice the difference.
Yep.
Okay. And you're fermenting you're using Kaiser.
Yep. And I'm fermenting cold, just like a Kolsch. So I'm doing 65 to 68 degrees. As soon as primary's done, I get it cold.
So this is not a style is this a style you'd be willing to try under pressure in room temp?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a believer in the pressure fermentation.
That's where I was going with this. Yeah. Like maybe we should try that, a room temp pressurized.
Blasphemy.
There's some German.
I can't believe you two of you would suggest that. I would think I would be the one suggesting.
I would think this. If we could do it under pressure fermentation and it turns out even close to regular
success,
I would say absolutely go for it.
Let's try that. I mean, if you're going to do a 15-gallon batch, take 5 of it and try it under pressure. You've got.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
That way, so you can see how it turns out.
Or we could just do 1 week. I could do 1 batch.
Yeah, we'll do that on 2
and batches. Then because that way because it's going to be good either way.
It is.
I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
And then we have 6 kegs of alt.
It has been interesting to see how you've taken, not just you, but all 3 of us, but mainly you and Todd, like the pressurization method has really, it's proven itself to you where you're like, oh my God.
Game changer.
Your pressured pills that I took a keg of, phenomenal. Absolutely.
I mean, it was easy to do. I mean, there was not a lot. We did Pilsen malt, Carapils, and German tradition.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
I have that hazy leaky IPA.
He's misspelled Loki, and it's disgusting. I did try it. We're not doing that on this episode. I'm about to wrap it up because we'll have you try. There's actually another beer over there I want you to try because it looks the same color as the barn beer, but I want to get your thoughts on what you think the style is. But that's a whole different thing. That's not for this episode. But yes, for all beer, wrapping it up.
A lot of experimenting tonight, though.
And I would say this: if you guys have any questions, I'm not the Horst is the professional on that. He knows everything. But if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to email me, jcarlson@homebrewhappyhour.com.
Yep.
and I will get back to you. Promise. You can even call. You can call the office.
I was going to say, what's funny is people
Or you could call Josh's cell phone number. What is that number again?
325-305-6107. No, people call the office lately, and either you answer or you answer, and I swear 9 out of 10 calls, they're like, "Are you James Carlson from Homebrew Happy Hour?" Or one guy called him, "Are you the infamous Todd Burns?" I almost vomited in my mouth.
Right.
Your dog is getting so excited.
He wants us to wrap this up. He probably has
really
to pee.
does.
But anyway, so guys,
And I will say this. I can't believe I'm doing
you let him
this.
out.
but
You let him out. I'll wrap it up.
You can call me on my cell phone or text me at 254-842-9561. I will answer it. Now, I may not answer it initially because I get a lot of spam calls, but if you leave a message, I'll get back to you.
Yep.
I'm not giving my cell number, but
512-749-7497.
No, that was his.
That was his.
And Todd is real. I will say this: Todd will get back to you.
He really does.
He's great about it.
You guys don't lie when y'all
Yeah.
say like, please call us. I've heard y'all on 25-minute calls with people helping them up through their brew day. And actually, that is a perk of our Chub Club when you're in a recipe.
Yeah.
Not many people take advantage of it, but the ones who have left me feedback like, oh my God, having James tell me like basically how to do my brew day, and he took half an hour with me.
But I'm a fellow brewer.
Right.
I make things. I make mistakes. Just like you guys.
And you learn as you go.
We're the same.
Yep.
I mean, we're brewing beer and having fun. So I welcome you guys. Get a hold of me anytime you need to.
Yep.
I'm here to help. Heck, I may need to call you and ask for some questions.
Well, and that's why we have the feedback line now, because the feedback we've learned a lot from
I actually love that. I think that talking about pressure fermentation, that was great. That was something I don't know. I'm not the end all be all. I've got a lot to learn too, guys.
Right. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about the brewing in 2022. Best time ever to be a home brewer. I say that all the time. Anyways, guys, let's drink some more alt in this. Let's do more Kilopitch shots, Todd.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll wrap it up there.
Gracie and I'll stay with the alt.
They will. And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, why don't you go to homebrewhappyhour.com, click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call, leave a voicemail, be Todd's best friend at 325-305-6107. Get a free pack of premium Imperial yeast along with one of our delicious recipes when you join our Chub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.